Okay, so you guys just saw I won round one massacre. I think it was 27 points. Only one other player massacred first round, so I was fighting Mark. If you see this, Mark, really good game, man. Glad I got to fight you. Um, Mark's playing Imperial Guard, not really Leaf Blower, not really not Leaf Blower either. It's kind of a hybrid. He had four Russes. I wish I had a list for his in front of me. He had a regular Russ in the same squad as a Punisher with Pask, and he had a regular Russ in the same squad as a Executioner with all the plasma. So just to allocate all of the damage results to the crappy regular Russes, basically. And he also had a Manticore in the back. He had a Psyker squad, 10 strong, and a Chimera. Biggest difference though between Leaf Blower and his, aside from the Russes instead of the other heavy artillery, was nothing else was really in Chimeras. It was just the one Chimera. He had two Hellhounds also, and but he had all the infantry. He had a Vendetta or Valkyrie rather, with the three Meltivets. Everything else was on foot. So he had a veteran squad with a bunch of plasma and like a las cannon. He had a 3-squad autocannon squad. He had a few infantry squads as well, with like an autocannon and like a melta gun or something like that. So, and company command with Master of the Ordnance. He won the roll. He went first. Kind of hurt a lot. This was the one with all the weird objectives. One in the middle of each quarter, one in the middle of the table. The one in the middle of our table ended up on like the 3rd level of some piece of rocky ruin thing. And we just didn't even end up going for it because it would have taken forever to get up there if we even made it. So we really just tried to get the other objectives. He went first. Wow, rocked my world. My goodness, this was table quarters setup. I tried to set up as much stuff behind the rock thing as possible, but there's only so much you could do. You couldn't infiltrate in this mission, so my Terminators had to start my deployment zone, and it was rough. I know a Manticore shot. Got to shoot twice. One of them scattered directly on one of my Land Raiders and immobilized it. And then he shot my other Land Raider with his Meltivets. He did the whole scout move forward, jump out, shoot it, and immobilized that. And I think took off both the las cannons on turn 1. So my Land Raiders were going nowhere, which really puts the hurt on my army. It's the main strategy is fly forward. The Land Raiders with the Terminators have a 27-inch threat range when I have strike with a fleet, so that really hurt a lot. He poured shots into my Terminators. The Punisher with Pask was ripping my guys apart. It was really it was nasty. Turn 1, I probably lost probably 5 or 6 Terminators at least, and both Land Raiders got screwed up, and and I took a wound or 2 on Lysander as well to save some more Terminators. It wasn't pretty. That was really probably the most important turn. I retaliated by killing a few of his veterans with the squad of Terminators. I put most of my attacks on the Valkyrie to try to shut that down. And I was stuck there fighting the Valkyrie and those veterans for a few turns, unfortunately. I didn't even kill I killed all of the weapons off the Valkyrie and immobilized it before I got an explode result on the Valkyrie, which took me forever. So it really did. It blocked in my entire movement and everything, mostly because I had my 2 Land Raiders, my Rhino behind it for cover, my Dreadnought behind it for cover, and the Valkyrie was right next to it, and then there was a rock formation beyond that, so I really couldn't get through anywhere without spending 2 or 3 turns going around. So that slowed me down a lot. I did eventually kill the veterans. They didn't get to kill anything else. They didn't kill any Terminators or anything in combat. And I had to foot slog all 19 of my Terminators plus Strike and Lysander across an open field, no cover, right towards a whole bunch of Imperial Guardsmen who were very angry. Turn 2, he did use he made me fall back with Weaken Resolve from the Psychers, so my big blob Terminators fell back. He shot to crap my 2 squads of 5, basically. 1 Thunderhammer, 1 Lightning Claw did make it to a Hellhound, killed that, and then he shot them dead. I did Melt-A-Gun with the drop pod. I tried to put it by the Russes and it scattered way out of the way. I did end up Melt-A-Gunning and actually wrecking the other Hellhound on turn 1. So those didn't do anything. I did, let's see, then I moved my big blob of Terminators forward, still across the open field, running and moving and running every turn. I made it to the Lehman Russ, one of the Lehman Russ squadrons on turn 2. I exploded the regular Lehman Russ. I took the weapon off the Punisher, so I didn't really do anything else the rest of the game. He just moved it out of the way and shot me some more. So he killed off the one group of 5 with the Thunderhammer and the Lightning Claw that killed the one Hellhound. And the other group just finished up with the veterans and started heading towards his lines, and he blasted them to pieces with the Executioner. I think he did like 6 wounds, and I lost all 5 of them. I did not roll well. But he did shoot at them before that too, so really that whole flank, that was all on my right side. My 2 squads of 5 were on my right. They didn't do shit. My left side was that big blob in the drop pod. Those are the only things in my army that really did anything. My Land Raiders kept taking pot shots and stuff. I don't think they killed anything the whole game, except for maybe 2 guardsmen. And they might have shaken the Chimera once or something like that. My missile launcher my scout with the missile launcher didn't do anything either, so they really just sat on the objective with 2+ cover due to the Lysander bolstering defenses. They just sat there and didn't even get shot at, because why shoot at them? So the scouts were really important. So I had my objective, he had his objective. The 2 on the sides were the only ones worth even going for. My drop pod landed near the one on my left. My Rhino wasn't too far from the one on my right, and he did deploy really far back, so those were almost so far out of reach that they almost weren't even worth going for unless he pushed just one side, because he didn't want to get an assault with me. So what ended up happening was the Manticore kicked the crap out of me. All of his shots brought my Terminators down to next to nothing. I think it was 2 Terminators and Lysander with 1 wound by the time I really made it to combat, not counting the Lehman Russes. My tactical squad was down to 3 guys when I made it to combat, the ones from the drop pod. And everything else pretty much died before it made it there. So my tactical squad charged the Psychers just to stop them from using their powers. I killed maybe 4 or 5. He killed 2 of my guys, unfortunately. So I was down to just a sergeant. And but I did hold him up for that turn, which was the most important thing. And then my other squad with the Terminators and that failed to get their 3-inch move for assault up onto the next level up to get some autocannon guys just to be in combat. And I jumped Shrike off to go attack one of his troop squads on its objective, and I killed almost all of them, and the rest fell back off the table. And then he promptly murdered Shrike. So what the game really came down to. Sorry this is so long-winded. I just figured for those of you who are really interested, you can hear a little bit about my game. Sorry I don't have more video though. Basically, Shrike killed one of the squads on his objective. He had 2 or 3 more that moved over there. I somehow lived through the fire. All the firepower. He did like 5 plasma wounds and a bunch of lasgun wounds, and actually saved all of them on my Lysander with 1 wound and 2 Thunderhammer Terminators that were left. I saved all of them. And that was going to be last round. I had last turn, and they moved forward, fleeted, and assaulted the unit that was standing right on the objective, killed them all, and I was contesting there then. And on the last turn, I had moved my Rhino 12 inches, and then I just disembarked right on the objective. So I ended up holding my objective, and one of the sides were 2. I stopped him from controlling any. So I did get a major victory there. I think I only got maybe 18 or so points on that one. I wish I had my score sheet with me. He did a great job, Mark, though. He kicked the snot out of my army. I was down to 2 Terminators and Lysander with 1 wound left out of 19 Terminators and Shrike, and 1 tactical squad was dead. Drop pod was dead. Both Land Raiders useless. So really stand-up job. I didn't kill much in return. So that was game 2, major victory, which put me in first place. So I'm going to be definitely playing the top guy again. So let me get to with round 3.